So we're continuing on in Guderian's Blitzkrieg 2, and we are on the first turn still of a scenario of a drive on Bryansk, and it's October 1st, 1941, and it's the Soviet player turn. So the first thing that I do is I've got to try to refit the fighters that were used, that were taken down during the German fighter sweeps, and I was able to spend one token for the airbase at Bryansk, which is a level 1 airbase, so it can refit 2 units. So both of the I-16s are refit and operational. Unfortunately, my supplies disrupted at the other fighter bases, so I wasn't able to refit any of them. They don't have any supply there, so that's too bad. It's going to make it really easy next turn for the Luftwaffe to take care of the Soviet fighter net. But at least Bryansk is somewhat protected. Then I've got the scenario gives me 3 supply points each turn. So in the rail cap, I'm really not going to be moving enough for a rail cap to really matter in a small scenario like this. So I just used 3 rail points to move 1 supply point to Bryansk. I moved 1 to Kursk and 1 to Mtsensk, and that's pretty much all I do with that. And I just continue with the movement phase. So in this scenario, the Soviet player is kind of paralyzed and has got a lot of things not in a good position. So what I've done, I can see that Orel and Mtsensk are really open. There's nothing defending them up there. So I'm trying desperately to find somebody to send there quickly. And I do have the 5th Cavalry Corps at Kursk. And basically a Soviet cavalry corps is the size of a division. So I've got 2 units in this, the 3rd and 14th Divisions. The other thing, I got a problem with these 3 infantry divisions that are kind of in the middle section of the defensive position. They're south in the map of Bryansk, but they're out of supply because of those panzer maneuvers, and plus knocking out that headquarters, the 13th headquarters. So I basically have these 3 divisions, the 133rd, the 188th, and the 307th, and these are all 1111 units. So I did decide to put them in move mode because attrition could be deadly for them here, and they have no supply line. So I put them in move mode, and they move toward the 3rd headquarters at Narya, and this really was very little that I could do because I've got no reserve markers as the Soviets in this scenario, so it's kind of a disaster. I decided not to do any air missions. I'm saving the medium bombers for when I have an imminent attack that's going to come through, and I'm going to try to, disrupt the German units in those cases, but I'm not sure if that's going to work for me. I did make a few minor moves to kind of shore up some of the defensive positions, and then during supply, I was able to deploy a tree bark soup marker. The Soviets have 5 of these in this scenario, and they're going to be able to place us in a heavy wood sex, which there is one nearby here, and then from that marker, they can trace a line of supply to those 3 divisions that got cut off. So it's going to save them, but I mean, they are reduced to tree bark soup. So the Soviet 13th headquarters is disorganized, but also out of supply. It can't move because it needs fuel to move. So it's stuck there, and it had really no way to pass the attrition check, and so it just evaporated. I assume they're all captured. I also forgot to roll for attrition for the 205th Tank Battalion, which is also cut off. It doesn't have any fuel. It can't move, and it failed its attrition, so it's evaporated. So to be expected. This is the way a lot of losses come in this game, is by cutting them off from supply, and they just don't have the action ratings to survive. So anyway, that's how the movement and supply phase went. Most of my units are still in supply, so it just was those 3 units that were having trouble. During the combat phase, I did make one attack that seemed like it would be helpful. It's not in a critical area of the map, but I had the 40th Soviet headquarters had the 179th Infantry Division, the 20th Tank Brigade, and the 43rd Cavalry Division attack the German 43rd Pioneer Battalion, which is a 5 action rating unit, and it also had an anti-tank unit underneath it. So, however, I got a 3-to-1 odds. Very good dice rolls, although that was somewhat neutralized by the action rating difference, and I ended up getting attack option 1, defender option 1. So I decided to destroy my tank unit because I didn't really care about it and that much, and the Germans either could destroy their unit or retreat it. So he retreated, but what I did accomplish in that attack is I burned up 2 German supply tokens. So supply is something very important, especially to the Germans, to run all of those panzers. So that was like the indirect way of affecting it. Anyway, I didn't really have any other things that I wanted to do in the combat phase because there just is nothing. I'm still really paralyzed as the Soviets right now. Next is the exploitation phase. And I don't have any reserve markers, so there's nobody that can be released from reserves. And the combat didn't generate any exploitation results as expected. And so there's no exploitation phase to play out in this turn. Anyway, during the cleanup phase, I was able to remove the disorganized from the 38th Infantry Division, and that's the one that is being, head off by the 17th Panzer Division. He's just more of a roadblock, I'm afraid. But anyway, that brings an end to the first turn of the game. You get an idea of how OCS works to some degree, although this scenario doesn't have all of the pieces, the moving pieces in it. So anyway, thanks for watching and have a great day.